The Campbell Fighting Camels are coming to Morgantown. Yeah, that's right. That might be the coolest name of a school in all of college basketball, and they're coming to Morgantown to see the Mountaineers on Thursday night. We got you covered with all that you need to know for that matchup here on Mountaineer Moment. This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody, to episode number 76 of Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. My name is Troy, and I'm pumped that you are here. I want to encourage you. I want to implore you to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, drop a rating, whatever platform you're on, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're everywhere, wherever you're watching or listening. Consider subscribing to the Mountaineer Moment movement, as I like to call it, because this thing is taking off a little bit, and I'm super excited. Slowly but surely, this little community is growing, and I'm super, super thankful. 76 episodes in just about 2.5 months, so you do the math. We're pumping out just about one episode per day at this rate. Will that continue forever? I don't really know, but right now it is, and right now I'm having the time of my life. So thank you for being a part of Mountaineer Moment, and excited to see where this thing is going to continue as we've just about through football season and continuing here at the start of basketball season, one game under the Mountaineers belt, and we got all sorts of coverage on that one. And again, this episode is just on Mountaineers game 2 on a Thursday in the first week of November. Mountaineers are going to be seeing the Campbell Fighting Camels in Morgantown for a 7 o'clock tip-off on ESPN Plus as they look to improve to 2-0. So in this episode, won't be the longest one of Mountaineer Moment's career, but we're going to talk about this Fighting Camels team, who they are, who they've already played this season, which is interesting, which we're going to get to in just a moment if you don't know already, who they've already seen, what the roster looks like, and then some keys for the Mountaineers, some keys that we want to see coming out of Game 1, heading into Game 2. What are we looking for? What are our eyes on here on Mountaineer Moment for West Virginia on Thursday night? So, again, it's already on the, if you're watching the video version on YouTube, you see who Campbell has already played, and that is the Wisconsin Badgers. That's right, the Wisconsin Badgers of the Big Ten, who are ranked 24th in the AP poll, and they met on Monday night, season opening night, in Wisconsin, home game for them, and Campbell lost that one by a final score of 96-64. So a 32-point loss for Campbell on the road against Wisconsin, but it was just a 10-point game at halftime, 48-38 at half. Campbell put up 38 points against a ranked Wisconsin team, which is not too shabby for their season opener. But we'll break down that game a little bit, just give you some notes, some things, some percentages, some box score numbers that they'll be heading out of Game 1 into Game 2 against another power conference opponent in the Mountaineers. But Campbell and who they are, I'm not going to pretend and sit here like I'm super well versed on the Campbell Fighting Camels, but I do know a few things just based on some research about this team, about this roster, and the makeup and where they're predicted to finish in the CAA, the conference that they are in. They're about a middle of the pack team projected in that CAA preseason poll. Towson is projected to win the league. UNCW obviously made the NCAA tournament last season. Harlan Obioha, shout out to him. Charleston set to finish third. Obviously, have been a pretty good program over the last number of years with their head coach on to Louisville, as you may well know. But down at number 7 in the conference, 7 out of 13 teams, is the Campbell Fighting Camels, projected again to finish about in the middle of the pack. They are, and so they have a first-year head coach whose name, to be honest, I don't know how to pronounce. I'm not even going to try. You can look it up and try on your own. He comes over from Florida. Obviously, we know what they did last season, and he comes over from Florida. First-year head coach, was an assistant, obviously there. First-year head coach now with Campbell. Not sure of his history beside Florida. Prior to his time spent there. Now, what that means, and what I've noticed, again, with a new head coach, means a whole new roster. You look at their numbers against Wisconsin, and their entire starting five is made up of transfers. We know a thing or two about that in West Virginia, don't we? Their bench, as far as, they played 4 guys off the bench, got playing time, one of which just played 2 minutes, I'm assuming just in garbage time, was a true freshman, and 3 others who are also, two of the three that got a decent amount of minutes are transfers as well, and then one player off the bench who was at Campbell last season. So do the math of 7 of the 8 players that played significant minutes in that season opening loss at Wisconsin, 7 out of 8 weren't a Campbell Fighting Camel last season. Transferred in, and here they are. So again, West Virginia knows a thing or two about that. That is not something that's a foreign concept to the team in Morgantown with Ross Hodge and a whole new look roster. But the point being, this is a whole new look team, whole new look squad, new coaching staff, new head coach, new players all over the floor. So it takes time to figure some things out. Now, in that 96-64 loss, again, it was just a 10-point game at halftime. DJ Smith led the way for them. He had 23 points, 4 boards, and 3 steals. Shot it well from beyond the arc, 4 of 10 and 8 of 15 from the floor. He's a senior who transferred from Robert Morris, averaged 9 points a game last season. This is his, 5th year of college basketball. Had 1 season cut short at Bowling Green, but this is his 4th stop. Spent a couple seasons at Little Rock, where he was a 10-point per game scorer in one of those seasons. And again, at Robert Morris last year, started 32 of 35 games and 9 points per game for him, a 39% three-point shooter on over 4 attempts per game. For DJ Smith, a 5'11 guard out of Dallas, Texas, led the way for them against Wisconsin. I'll give you a couple other names here. For this Campbell Fighting Camels team, off the bench, second leading scorer was Chris Fields Jr., junior guard transfer from Norfolk State, where last season he averaged 8.5 points per game. 6'7" forward, Chris Fields Jr., guy to keep an eye on, had 13 points in their season opener in Wisconsin. All right, and again, they've just got guys that have transferred in. We know what that's like. You got a guy in their starting lineup that transferred from Pepperdine. You got another one that transferred from Albany and Delaware State. You've got, you just got guys transferring all over the place. No secret in today's world of college basketball. You got another one. I'm sorry, excuse me. I was wrong. They have two guys. One of their starters, Cam Gregory, was at Campbell last season, though he did transfer from a school previous to that. He averaged almost 8 points a game last season with Campbell, a 6'5" senior guard. So 2 guys of their 8 guys that got significant minutes spent time on this team last season. That's Cam Gregory. And then to round out their starting lineup, Jeremiah Johnson, who transfers from Green Bay. He's a sophomore. Green Bay last season, he averaged over 10 points per game. So they are figuring out as they go, obviously, just like the Mountaineers, with a lot of new players, a lot of new faces to this Campbell Fighting Camels program. I just like saying that whole name because I think it's awesome. But yeah, a 32-point loss at the hands of Wisconsin. Let me just see what Wisconsin did. Again, I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched this game, but their standout performance, standout guard John Blackwell, who averaged 16 points a game last season, put up 31 against Campbell, knocked down 6 threes. So he was a big-time performance from him. Nick Boyd put up 21 points. As a team, they knocked down 11 of 28 threes. They knocked down their free throws, something we didn't see the Mountaineers do, but Wisconsin sure did. 17 of 19 free throws. Campbell had 19 turnovers in this one. Obviously, West Virginia is coming off a game in which they just forced 20 turnovers, so you would like to keep that trend going as well. Yeah. This is concern is the wrong word, but just an observation. Obviously, an observation is that Campbell just played a ranked team that has their sights set on making the big dance. And while obviously it pulled away into a blowout, they were hanging with them for a good portion of this game, certainly up until halftime, 10-point game. And, I get that it's only a couple days in between, but that's meaningful to a team when you play against a ranked team, and then you got another team, with, that's a power conference opponent. And even though you lost by a lot, it's, kind of a boost of confidence, even maybe internally for Campbell to say, we've played a team that is probably better than West Virginia is. And, we showed some signs of life. We did some things that we were happy about, obviously some things that they are desiring to clean up. But again, one game in, and Campbell is coming off a loss to a ranked team, and West Virginia is coming off of a win to a team that's projected to finish like ninth in their conference in the preseason poll. So just something to be aware of. But for this last part, we'll just kind of focus in on some things that I want to see, which are all obviously rooted in what we saw or didn't see in the Mountaineers season opener. One, I'm desiring to see those other two guys in the starting lineup that aren't Brennan Laurent, Honor Huff, and Jasper Floyd to step up and do something and have an impact, take some load off of those other guys. That's Harlan Obioha, the big 7-footer from UNCW. So a couple of those guys at Campbell played against Obioha last season. And then Trayson Eaglestaff, North Dakota transfer, averaged 19 points a game in North Dakota, coming off a 1-point performance, 0 of 3 from the field, knocked down 1 of 3 free throw attempts against Mount St. Mary's. And so you want to see those guys step up. You want to see some consistency there. Because, and again, it's a scrimmage, it doesn't count. No one maybe even knows this, but like Trayson Eaglestaff didn't look good against Wheeling in that scrimmage. And then he didn't look good in the season opener. And so we're desiring for him to have a breakout performance, to have a game where he knocks down several threes and gets into the flow of the offense and just looks good. Because lost isn't the right word, but he doesn't look too comfortable out there. Harlan Obioha, stay out of foul trouble. Get involved in the game, be a dominant presence that you are, because if you can't dominate against these other schools, you certainly ain't going to do it in the Big 12. Okay, so let's figure some things out and get those guys involved, get them in spots to have success. Another thing you want to see, obviously, is free throw shooting to improve, because it was pretty bad. Aside from Honor Huff, who went 7 for 7, this team just really struggled at the line. A lot of times you get up to the line and they made the first, missed the second, made the first, missed the second, made the first, missed the second. That trend just continued throughout the game, and you want to see that cleaned up. Make your free throws. They're free. You need them, especially if your shooters are knocking down shots, get to the line, and take the free ones, obviously. Again, I mentioned it a moment ago, something else you want to see from West Virginia is forced turnovers, wreak havoc, just buy into this Ross Hodge defensive mindset. And I am curious to see how it's going to play out. Again, Campbell, it's nothing to be ashamed of, is putting up 38 points in a half against Wisconsin. Second half, they put up just 26, but what kind of offense and issues might they present West Virginia, and how's West Virginia going to respond? Ross Hodge hangs his hat on defense. They're ranked third in the whole nation in scoring defense last season at North Texas, and you can bet that he wants to be in that realm again. He wants to put up similar numbers here as his first year in Morgantown. So obviously Campbell has some guys with experience from other places that can put the ball in the bucket a little bit, and just curious to see how that's going to shake out. But you want to wreak havoc. You want to buy into that defensive mindset of Ross Hodge and show improvement even on that end, because mention it in other episodes, obviously as recap of part of Mount St. Mary's, but there's no denying the fact, I might have even said it in this episode, that Jasper Floyd, Brennan Laurent, the two guys that come from North Texas with Ross Hodge, were absolutely positively the best players on the floor for West Virginia. They looked the most comfortable for West Virginia on offense and defense, and it just showed. So, not that you don't want them to continue to play well, but like you just want to see other guys step up and look comfortable and own and find a role, because it was, I don't even know, it was like 16 of the first 20 points were scored by Brennan and Jasper, and obviously they finished with half the team's points, because Jasper had 25 and Brennan Laurent had 11. That's 36, so over half, 36 out of 70 points belonged to those two guys from North Texas. Not to mention what they did defensively, which was super, super important and valuable too. So you don't want to ride a two-man horse all season. Almost said two-man camel, but that would have been just silly. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to be forced to do that. These other guys were brought in to add to the depth and add to be major contributors. One game is not an indicator that they're not going to be major contributors, obviously, but you just want to see it sooner rather than later. Take some pressure off those other guys, and let's go get another win. Like, let's just stack wins in this non-conference slate, get more comfortable, and then when you have some, higher quality opponents coming your way, like, let's step up to the competition, play well, and compete, and try and win some games, man. That's what it's about, stacking W's. So let's do that. All right. Mountaineer Moment, episode number 76 is in the books. Thank you for being here. And, man, please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, drop a rating, wherever platform you're on. And we'll see you next time on Mountaineer Moment.